I've used this book and it's helped me be able to play solos like this. So what is up, guys? Jairus Yoakley here, and we're going to talk about ghost notes. I'm going to let you in on a little secret that, hopefully it's not that much of a secret, but to me, when I first found out about this in high school, I was like, my brain was open to the endless possibilities of this book, Syncopation by Ted Reed. Yes, Ted Reed. It's linked in the description below. But this book, man, you can see it's all worn, because I've used this book for years now, and it's helped develop my ghost notes to where they are today. But the funny thing is, I've only used one page in this book for all the years that I've used this book, and it's page 38, exercise 1. But before we get to that point, I want to demonstrate the concept that we're going for here. So if you have this book, first of all, bravo. If you have this book already, you're ahead of the curve. A lot of the exercises only show the snare drum and the bass drum, that part. But for what I'm going to show you, you only need the snare drum live. The kick drum and everything else is going to do something different. We'll get to that. So to break down this concept more, I'll do something I've never done in this book and change the page. And I'll use this first exercise on page 10. So you see the pattern, you can read it straight or swung. And growing up, I always played everything swung, because a lot of my studying from books came from a jazz approach. And obviously swing is very important in jazz, so we'll start by playing it swung. Also, I seem to be getting a cold, so my voice is feeling weird right now. So there it is, you have the regular pattern like that, but this is the ghost note video, right? So we want to fill in that space with the triplet. So normally you count like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But since we're swinging it, I think of everything in triplets. So I think of 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... So now I'm going to play that same pattern, but fill in the empty space with the other hand. So it's training the ear to hear those subdivisions while I'm playing the main figure. And obviously the straight version would be 16th notes. So now we established the concept. So I would do a few reps of each version until I feel comfortable enough, and then I up the speed. So yeah, this is a ghost note lesson, but I'm going to insert a little coordination exercises with it too. So like I said, I come from a jazz approach, and it wouldn't be jazz without that ride cymbal pattern and the hi-hat on 2 and 4. So we're going to play this figure on page 10. The snare drum is going to play what's written, and the kick drum is going to fill in those gaps like we talked about, the subdivisions. A lot of people, when they think of ghost notes, they think it's only for the snare drum, but I use it for the kick drum as well. I mean, it's not really a ghost note because the kick drum is very loud, but practicing this with your right foot is going to help you a lot, trust me. So yes, we're playing the ride cymbal jazz pattern, hi-hat on 2 and 4. And yeah, the key is obviously use a metronome. That's what I'm using. You just can't hear it. So what comes next? Obviously, you guessed it. We switch it. So the kick drum plays the pattern now that's written, and the snare drum fills in the gaps. And this is where we get into the actual ghost notes on the snare drum. And if it's tough at first to kind of see more than just what's on the page, it's okay. It took me a while to be able to see all of this and know exactly how to play in between each figure. So just stick with it. It'll get more easier as time passes. Now the fun part is switching to 16th note subdivisions. This is something I didn't really do growing up, but I'm doing it more now because I feel like drumming has moved more towards the electronic, almost computerized sound. And obviously 16th notes, I mean, a lot of electronic music uses 16th notes and 32nd notes. So it's going to be imperative that you know how to subdivide through these patterns and get it to a point where you're not even thinking about it and it just comes out instinctively. So to make sure we have this concept down, I'm going to move to exercise 6 and play a pattern with a little more movement so you can see how those subdivisions fit in with the snare drum and then the bass drum. So now, I mean, spend as much time on that previous section as you need to. If you want to just pause the video and keep doing that section until you get it right. And then when you're ready, we go to page 38, which is the page I'm most familiar with in this book. And this is a beast. I mean, this is how many measures? 40 measures? That's crazy. 40 measures of different figures that you have to play. So it's like almost a classical piece that we're about to embark on. And you're most likely gonna struggle a lot playing this. But the key is obviously to keep at it. Don't stop, keep moving, and just know that eventually you'll get it. Because I didn't play this perfect when I first tried it. And also I'm not playing it perfect right now, but I'm just playing it so you get the gist of the concept. been practicing this. I pretty much would just do it one cycle through every day at the same temperature, at the same tempo. And then I guess after a couple of days, increase the tempo slowly until I can get it pretty fast. But yeah, I don't, on this exercise on page 38, I don't keep doing it over and over again. Just once through each day should be enough, more than enough to get that progress going. So obviously we do it in the swung variation. Then the 16th note variation is where it gets tricky because a lot of these rests, that's kind of a long time to play 16th notes. And also to bring a little more intentionality and to put into context, you can add, if you have a clap stack or even a stack of any kind, add on 2 and 4 or on 3 a backbeat and then play this groove. which is kind of taking it on the way to where I've been headed this whole time. I've used this book and it's helped me be able to play solos like this. Now, obviously, on stage, there are no rules. I'm not trying to play an exercise perfectly on stage. So I'm not doing necessarily ostinatos, but that idea of hitting the clap on 2 and 4 every time, or on whatever beat I choose every time, it's made easier, and I know I can do it because I've spent hours and hours in this book working on my ghost notes and working on my syncopation. So to me, when I hear something like this, it might sound crazy, and people say, oh, it's harder to play, or it's impossible to play melodically when you're playing fast. I 100% disagree with that, because to me, I hear the melodies. I'm hearing the kick drum switch to the main lead, playing a certain pattern, and everything else is playing off of my kick drum, and then the snare drum takes the lead, and then everything else plays off of that, and all the while, the clap stack is on 2 and 4. So I hear those melodies, and that just reminded me. So we'll go through this exercise, this page, with the snare drum as the lead and the kick drum as the lead. But another wrinkle that I've added to this, well, first of all, let's let it be known that I was taught this, I think, by Steve Davis, a great drummer in St. Louis. I think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was him. He showed me this method of practicing syncopation. And if not, then I learned it at Berklee. But I'm pretty sure it was Steve. But so they taught me, okay, so go through that way, snare drum lead, kick drum lead. And then once you get comfortable with those ways, you switch it up and you do 1 bar, snare drum plays the melody, next bar, kick drum plays the melody. So it's tricking your brain, and you're having to be on your P's and Q's and pay attention and be ready to switch after that measure is over. I forgot to include that example, but I think you'll figure it out. But yeah, any and all questions, put them in the comments. Video ideas, put them in the comments. Thank you guys for checking it out. And I'm just trying to, shine a light or pull back the curtain so you guys can see what goes into all the videos that you see of not just me, but any of your favorite drummers. There's a lot of work that goes into that. And hopefully with this channel, I can, continue to dive deep into that. Oh, yes. Thank you guys for watching some of the live clips I put up from my shows. I appreciate the support. More of those should be on the way. I'm trying to book more shows with my band too. And if you didn't know I had a band, check out my album, Sometimes Late at Night. Debut album, by the way, released in May. It features Big Yuki, and I think it's pretty awesome. So if you haven't heard it, check it out. If you have heard it, I'm trying to take it on the road and play more shows. Hopefully by 2025, I'll get a lot of shows booked. But in the meantime, thanks for watching these videos, and I'll see you out there.